Hi everyone, I'm going to be talking about how to save money and get confident starting with acrylic painting, as well as how to plan your first painting. So, my name is Jackie Partridge. I'm an artist. I have my Master of Fine Arts. I'm also an art teacher with lots of experience. I love art, the outdoors, and acrylic painting. So, some mistakes can happen for beginners. It can be really overwhelming and costly purchasing acrylic painting supplies to get started. And there's a belief that you need a lot of different supplies to get started. You might have seen kits that have lots of different paint and lots of different brushes, but I will show you exactly what you need. And it's better to start slow and add to your collection over time. So I'm going to be showing you the supplies that you need to get started and so some supplies that are a little nice to have if you have the budget for it. So, how to plan your first painting. This doesn't need to be a very complicated process. You can paint what you want and have the freedom to make it your own. And I will show you the steps to plan your painting with actionable steps so that you can continue to improve. So, some supplies that you need some kind of cup or jar for water. So, this is going to help you clean your brushes when you switch colors and you're mixing your colors of acrylic paint. So, this can be something free that you already have lying around. Next, a real investment is the acrylic paint. So, it's good to try an affordable student brand. I like Amsterdam or Rio Tech. You want to avoid acrylic paint from the dollar store. That's going to be more runny and have a lot of water into it. So if you look at the picture at the bottom there, you can see the paint is kind of nice, thick consistency. So you just need a small dab of it, and that's going to go a long way. You're not going to need tons and tons of layers, and the color is quite rich. So when it comes to colors of acrylic paint, you don't need every color in the rainbow. You can mix a lot of colors with some basic colors. So we need titanium white. That's going to be the color that you're using the most with your painting. So you can buy a larger bottle or tub of titanium white. Mars black, that's going to be how you're getting darker colors. Cadmium red, cadmium yellow. And then I like to get two different blues because there's different blues in sky versus water and grass. So cobalt blue and ultramarine blue are the blues that I like. So again, that's cadmium red, cadmium yellow, titanium white, which you're going to need more of than other colors, Mars black, and ultramarine blue and cobalt blue. So our paintbrushes, again, we don't need a ton of brushes. A 1-inch flat brush is great for painting the backgrounds and covering a large surface of a canvas. So it's flat because it has a nice flat edge to it. And it's kind of plasticky bristles, like the picture with the red handle. Those are going to be easier to clean and wash. You can wash your brushes just with some water and dish soap. Whereas natural haired brushes like the paintbrush above the red brush, those are kind of made with hog hair, and it's going to be a lot harder to clean those bristles. And then you just need round brushes. So a round brush kind of comes to a nice tip to it, like in the picture here. So I have a number 2 brush, which is really small. It has a really small tip for details. So that's good for dots, lines, outlines, any kind of details like thin branches, small flower petals. And then our larger brush, this is a number 6. So the number is usually printed on the handle. So the bigger one's number 6 and the smaller one is number 2 for details. And these are the only brushes that you need, just 3 paint brushes. You can continue to build your collection over time, but these are good to start out with for now. And then some sort of cloth rag just to dry your brush as you're mixing colors and dipping your brush in water. You can use an old t-shirt, dish towel, something that you already have lying around. So then we're going to need something to paint on. So often with acrylic painting, we think about canvases like the top picture here. So you can use canvases. You can buy them in a package in bulk. That's going to save you money. Dollar store or Walmart canvases are fine. The quality of the canvas isn't as important as the quality of the paint. So it's better to spend a little bit more money on paint because your painting is going to look better than if you spend a lot of money on the canvas. Obviously, the larger the canvas, the more money it's going to be as well. You can start by just doing small paintings on 8 inches by 10 inches or even smaller, and that's fine. You can also paint on something called canvas board, which is like a thin cardboard wrapped in canvas. You can find that at the dollar store or Walmart as well. That's going to be more affordable option. I also like watercolor paper. When it dries, it does curl a little bit, but you can flatten it under a stack of books, and that works out just fine. So some extra supplies that are nice to have: an easel that can really help with your posture so you're not hunched over painting all the time. I like a tabletop easel. A wooden easel is nice. It's just good quality and more durable. You want to avoid plastic easels, and a lot of the metal easels are made with thin aluminum, so it's just not a good quality. It's not going to last well over time. And when you're not using the easel, it can be folded up and stored away. You can use some kind of apron or any old shirt to paint in is fine. Acrylic paint, when it dries, it becomes plasticky, so it's hard to remove from your clothing. So you definitely want to protect your clothes or wear older clothes when you're painting. I like to use a nice palette like the one in the picture. It has a lid on it, and that's going to keep the paint fresh because acrylic paint will last if it's covered and protected from the air so it doesn't dry out. So it'll last a couple of days. So getting a palette with a lid is really nice, and you can find that at an art supply store or Amazon. If you don't have that, you can use an old plate, paper plate, or a plastic lid to a container works fine as well. So, how to plan your first painting. So, these are the different stages of the creative process, and we want to think about those when we're planning our first painting. So, maybe we've done some tutorials before on YouTube and we're ready to create our own painting from scratch without following along the steps of a video showing us how to paint XYZ. So, our first stage is preparation. So this is where we're going to brainstorm, what do we want to paint? The more ideas, the better. You can keep track of your ideas in a journal or a sketchbook, and then you can refer back to your ideas later. If you're having trouble coming up with ideas, it's good to look for inspiration. Take a look at some photos you've taken. Um, I really like painting landscapes and flowers, so that's kind of where I usually like to start, or clouds. You can visit a local art gallery for ideas. You can take a look at pictures in magazines, books, calendars. You can take a look at an art history book from a local library just to see some inspiration from painters throughout history. Once we have our list of ideas, we're going to choose what specific idea we want to do. So we're going to plan and focus. So once you have your list, you can choose your best idea, or which idea are you most excited about or feel confident in painting. If this is your first painting, you want to choose something that's a little bit more simple so that it's achievable and isn't overwhelming. So choose something that doesn't have a lot of details, a lot of colors, or a lot of textures, something that you're comfortable drawing or painting. So if you know that you want to paint flowers, then you need to make some key decisions like what type of flower, how many, what colors, what size, are they in a vase? If this is our first painting, then we're going to keep it simple. So maybe just do one flower or a close-up, maybe avoid the vase until later on. And it helps to choose or take a photo of what you want to paint exactly so that you have something to work from. And that way you can copy the colors and the shapes that you see. You can also choose to maybe paint a piece of fruit like a lemon, an apple, or a pear. It's good to take a photo of that fruit in case the light changes or the fruit moves slightly as well. Our next stage is exploring and experimenting. So, this is really good to test out our paint and paintbrushes. You can do this in a sketchbook or on a piece of paper and just experiment. Try adding lots of water to your paint. Try making different marks. Try doing something that's maybe a bit creative or fun. You can also decide the colors that you want to use. You can choose different colors and try to copy the colors that are in the photo, or you can change the colors, brighten them, lighten them, darken them, however you would like. And you may choose to experiment more as you feel more comfortable and learn more. So there's so many different things you can do with acrylic paint. You can paint with different materials or tools. You can experiment with color mixing. You can add different things into the paint like sand or other different textures. So acrylic painting is so fun and the possibilities are endless. And as you start experimenting and playing, you're going to learn more and just feel more confident in the different effects that you create. Our next stage is producing preliminary work, so our rough sketch. So you can do a rough sketch on paper or in a sketchbook, and this helps you visualize what the painting is going to look like. You can kind of make a plan and decide how you want the painting to look. What colors are going to be in the background? Where's your object going to be positioned? All those kinds of decisions. I like to use a piece of colored chalk when I'm drawing out basic shapes on my canvas or painting because chalk can just be wiped away afterwards, whereas a pencil line, you might be able to see that or it could damage your canvas. So in this picture, I'm painting a lemon and I'm drawing out the lemon with a piece of chalk and planning the shape and design of my painting. And you can watch this full tutorial on my YouTube channel as well. So, revising and refining. So, after we've made our sketch or our plan, or even our underpainting, where we're kind of adding a base coat of paint, then we can add more layers and we can add more details. So, with acrylic painting, as we're, doing our basic layers, we're adding more layers of paint over top and waiting for it to dry in between each layer. So we can start with a background color like the blue of our sky and the bottom part of the green grass. And then the next layer might be adding the textures of the little yellow flowers or the different shadows and things like that. So you can build your layers as you go. You can also make changes from your inspiration photo. So if your inspiration photo had a lot of one color and you want to change the color, you can go right ahead. You're the artist, you're in complete control of that. So next, it's good to present and share our work. And presenting our paintings just helps us to become a better painter. So you can hang the work in your home, you can post a photo to social media, you can ask for feedback. And when we present our work, we're just becoming more confident as artists. We're also able to notice things and appreciate our work. So a painting looks very different when you hang it on the wall and stand, 5 or 10 feet away versus when you're looking at it, you're looking at all those little details and oftentimes it just looks wrong or sloppy or messy or you're not happy with it. But when you hang it up on your wall and take a step back, you're actually able to kind of appreciate it and you're not worried about all those little details. So that's a mistake that a lot of artists make is that they're, spending a lot of time fixing and correcting things and they're just not happy with it. And then they might make mistakes and ruin parts of the painting that they were actually really happy with and have to start over. The nice thing about acrylic painting is that you can always just paint a new layer of paint over top. So you don't need to be really attached to it. You can make mistakes and paint over something That's completely fine. But it's good to look at your painting from a distance and take some steps back every now and then, just so that you can see how would it look if it's hanging on the wall or displayed on your fireplace. And that just helps you kind of figure out, maybe the colors need to be brighter or darker, or this needs to be larger, and you can kind of make your decisions that way. You can also ask for feedback from someone that you trust. Maybe they have an art background, maybe they have experience acrylic painting, and that feedback can be really helpful because they might be able to give you a little bit of constructive criticism, or even just some ideas of, maybe you could make the color a bit brighter and it might pop more, or maybe just add some more details, or some shadows can make it look more realistic. So that feedback can be super valuable and help you continue to improve as you paint more. So, next, we want to reflect and evaluate. So, after presenting your paintings and getting feedback, you can decide if anything should be changed, added, to make the painting better. And like I said, you can always paint over something that you're not happy with. Even if you think a painting is finished, you might change your mind a couple years later and paint over something, and that's completely fine as well. So once your painting is hanging up and maybe on the wall, you can just spend some time reflecting and looking at it. And this is the same if we're doing a piece of writing and writing a story. After we've edited the writing, we might take some time just to reflect and make sure that we're happy with our final piece that we've created. So again, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, Jackie Partridge Art. Feel free to subscribe to show your support. I have close to 100 videos on there, including color mixing videos, tutorials for all levels, no matter what stage of beginner painter you are or intermediate. I have some palette knife painting videos on there, and I will be adding some more as well. So definitely check that out. Tutorials are really helpful because they can just help you practice certain parts. Like if you're having trouble painting clouds or painting snow, you can find a specific tutorial to just help you with that so that you can practice and get better. And then when you want to paint your own painting, you know how to paint clouds or whatever it is that you would like to paint. So, also make sure you check out my free guide, and that will be linked for you. You can also send me a message on Instagram or Facebook as well if you need help accessing that. So, in my free guide for beginner painters, I share 10 common mistakes that beginner painters make and how to avoid them. I also give you a roadmap that gives you some tutorials from my channel that you can check out to improve your acrylic painting. And for being on my mailing list, every spring and fall, I send out an exclusive free tutorial to members on my mailing list that aren't on YouTube, like this painting pictured here. And please connect with me on social media. I would love to see your paintings. Send me photos. I'm happy to connect with you, and I'd love to see what you're working on. So that's at Jackie Partridge Art on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks so much for being here.